Hey everyone, welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today's guests are the owners of Caitlyn Minimalist, an Asian female-founded jewelry brand that crafts delicate, personalized, and timeless pieces that capture each client's unique style and story. The Orange County-based company started in 2013, and since then has been featured in Elle, Vogue, Glamour, and more. You can shop Caitlyn Minimalist in person at Fashion Island and Irvine Spectrum. Thank you so much for being here today, Kate, Kim, and Michael Holcombe.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So I was actually first introduced to you guys' brand when you opened the Fashion Island location. And first of all, I love all of your jewelry. There was like so many times where I was walking through the store and I was like, oh my God, I've seen girls wearing this style and I haven't been able to find it anywhere. So loved that. And I tell anyone who will listen about your vintage designer watches that you have there. They're like reasonably priced. I'm wearing one right now. I was obsessed.
Nice.
So yes, very much a huge fan of you guys.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah,
of course.
The Fashion Island stores is fairly new for us, but it's getting people to see our brand, and so it's working, I guess.
Definitely. Well, let's start at the very beginning. So, Kate, can you share a bit about your move from Vietnam to the U.S. in 2012 and what initially inspired you to go into jewelry making?
Yeah. In 2012, my uncle sponsored my whole family here. I mean, I'm always big in like design and like style, you know, like in college, I would be the one that have the most different style, like like I guess, especially with jewelry, you know. So in Vietnam, I design some design and then sell here, but from Vietnam, so it's not like as popular. And when I was in Vietnam, I don't have as much at the taste that people here, you know. So jewelry sell a little bit, 1 or 2 like a month or so, you know, but that is still pretty good for me in Vietnam. But then when I moved here, I start seeing the trend. I went to college and then I start seeing what people wear. I pay attention and I open like I create some jewelry like name ring and name necklaces and stuff, you know, for myself, for some of the friends. And yeah.
Wow. Well, I read that you created your first necklace from your grandpa's handwriting. Is that right?
Yeah, before that, I also already create like some name necklace, name ring and stuff. But then handwriting back then is not a thing, you know. So handwriting jewelry handwriting is the thing, but then handwriting jewelry is not really popular. So I create a necklace that everybody here, they always wear the word love always, something like that. So I really like it. I come from a big family, you know, so we always like sharing, like say the love. Love is like the foundation of the family, is always like family first. So I love that. So I create a love always necklace from my grandpa handwriting. And everybody loves this, you know. So they wear the love, but it's not contemporary handwriting. So this is so sentimental and brings so much emotion. So everybody connect and start requesting me to create for them like something similar. And then so I think I went on with the online first, do some research, and then there one designer that create handwriting jewelry, but it's really expensive. It's like $300, you know. So come from jewelry background and from Vietnam, you know, we have really skillful like handcraft, like jeweler that can create for like a fraction of the cost. So I was able to create some for them with like a really good pricing. So from there, I start open the silver handwriting shop.
Yeah. And so that was on Etsy. So at what point did you start, did you rebrand to Caitlyn Minimalist? How come, what was the choice behind that?
I think one of the good thing about me is I'm always looking, always listening, like always like practice listening, like, you know, to my customers. So when I start having silver handwriting, because handwriting is such, I guess so much demand. But, you know, but sometimes customer would come to me and ask, can you create this jewelry for me? Can you create this jewelry? Can you create a birthstone jewelry for me? Because I have a small workshop, so I can create anything custom for them. And I love my customer. And it's sort of unique, like relationship with customer. Back then, you know, I don't have like a lot of customer like right now. I cannot like talk to every one of them. But back then, I talked to every single one. Everybody would share the story. Okay, can you put a birthstone on my handwriting jewelry? Okay, can I create? At first, I only make necklace, and then customers say, "Can you put that on a ring?" So I start put it on ring, on bracelets, like on everything, you know. So it just, and then some more like inquiry on the personalized jewelry. Beside the personalized jewelry, coming to like minimalist, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like cohesive with my style too. You know, I'm always like a minimalist person. Like less is more. So
yeah,
I rebranded to like Caitlyn Minimalist.
I love that. Well, at what point did you guys first meet?
We actually met while she was living in Vietnam. I've attempted to try to learn Vietnamese for a long time. It's a very difficult language to learn. A couple of classes, and I was graduating with my degree. Went back to school and got a degree at a later age, and was planning a trip to Vietnam. And so I went onto this website, livemocha.com, which is a language website that had a social element to it. And I started to take the course and then meet other Vietnamese speakers. We met because she was practicing her English, and we didn't ultimately meet when I went out there. I was only there for a short stint, about a week. Actually, it was about 5 days, and then but we Skyped for a year and a half after I got back. And one day she messaged me, "Hey, I'm immigrating," and I was living in Venice Beach, and she moved to Anaheim, and that was that.
Wow, that literally sounds like a movie. That's like
it's wild, Ultimately, Rosetta Stone purchased that website and shut it down because it was competition. But we could have definitely been poster children of the website.
Yeah, they're like, you can learn a language and find someone to marry.
Yeah, right. So cool. Find love.
Yeah, find love. Well, so to jump forward a bit, I read that you guys there was this really cool story about how you were packaging orders while you were having contractions just before Black Friday. Do you mind sharing that story? Because that just I was blown away by that was so impressive to me. And then also just, I don't know, that was just an amazing story.
Yeah, there's so many stories like that. That is just one of them. We have five babies together. Yeah. So
wow.
It's just there always a moment like that. That is
what was happening with how many
stories?
No, that was with Jonathan.
With Jonathan, the first baby.
So I guess I'll share the story. We obviously were building this business. I started helping her after a few months because it started to really take off. And we had our first child on the way, and his birthday's November 19th. And, Black Friday is like the week after. And so we're starting to get an influx of orders, and she's going to contractions. But we had to get this order out. And so she's like, no, we got to get this done. And she's going into contractions. She would take a break, pack jewelry, take a break. Finally, we get it done. And I jam her over to the hospital. But, when you're, starting a business and it's those early stages where we're doing everything, you have to do it or else it just doesn't get done. And so, those first couple of years, we've had a lot of stories where, you just kind of
just do it.
Just do it. Like she's answering emails on the laptop after delivery.
Oh my God. You're a beast. I feel like crazy. Being able to get past something do something like that, you're able to trust yourself so much more too, being like, I can do anything. If I could do that, I can do anything. Exactly. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grow so much. My inner strength grows so much over the year because how I just have to keep pushing the limits.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Michael, can you speak fluent Vietnamese now?
Very little. He can understand when we talk.
That's a big leap though, being able to understand at least, right?
Yeah. I know when they're talking about me. Really, that's why I want to keep, learning. It's only when they're talking about me.
Yeah. I love that. I took Spanish from high school and all through high school and college. I don't remember very much of it, but it's hard.
If you don't use it, you lose it. So.
Yeah, right. Well, Michael, you eventually left your job to work full time on Caitlyn Minimalist. So what was that leap like, and how has both of your roles changed over time?
Yeah, I was working in television. like I said, I went back to school at a later age. I got a degree in TV. I was doing teleprompting for various TV shows and also bartending on the side, trying to piece together paychecks here and there. And so, obviously she's very smart and focused, and she treated it like a business from the get-go. And so she started to get some early traction. I ultimately left my job because, we wanted to build this business. And so it was pretty easy transition. I was able to be at home and also help with, our new son. But, over the years, it's also like a balancing act, being together as, in a marriage and then also a work relationship. So, we kind of, we're like yin and yang. I do things that, she might not have a strong suit in. And then she also has many more things that she has a strong suit in than me. So
yeah.
Out.
Oh, I love that. Well, how did you guys come to make the decision to hire your first employee, and how has your team grown since? I feel like that'd be so hard to find the first one.
Yeah. It's just because it got to a point where we couldn't do everything ourselves. Like we had shared the story about our son being born. Having team members to assist when we have moments like that is beneficial. So it got to the point where, we didn't have the bandwidth to answer all the emails in time and also put together the orders and so we reached out and, it's a learning process for us too. All these different steps along the 10 years that we've been in business, put out a listing and started interviewing people at a coffee shop and they started working with us in our home in Anaheim. And
wow.
It got to a point where we had 5 people come into our house every morning. We're like, we should probably get an office. So we got an office, and now we're on our 3rd office here in Irvine. It's, obviously with the growth of the business, it's much bigger and a lot nicer than that first office where we conducted the janitor's closet.
How many employees do you guys have now?
We have about 70 employees for the office, for the warehouse. But since the retail team, we hire a lot more. So
we're around just 70. About 70.
But the workshop in Vietnam have like 200,
Wow, that's incredible. And you guys have had just this incredible organic growth. You've had viral Facebook posts and TikToks with tens of millions of views. How has word of mouth and social media? They are tens of millions. Oh,
I wish tens of millions.
Yeah. But still, millions is still crazy. I think ours has 1,000 is our highest. So that's great. But how has word of mouth and social media shaped your business model?
I think it's for sure very helpful. Word of mouth at the beginning is very important for us because we don't do any advertising at the beginning. Yeah. All we care about is how to make our customer happy. Mm-hmm. And that was so important for us. And it was so successful that everybody just keep referral for us to everyone else, the family, the friends, that it just create a big connection of community. Everybody is all story to share. So it's story unit of itself too. So it create even bigger impact between the communities.
Yeah. And also, social media is word of mouth, but on steroids. And so when we were making those early customers, obviously we're trying to make every customer happy, but those early ones were very important because they're telling everybody and they're also posting organically to their own socials. It's a big difference between a sponsored influencer post versus a very organic person posting, who's not getting paid or has no affiliation. It's from the heart and it means more. And so we're just having a lot more kind of social media word of mouth helps.
Yeah.
And we did
and your guys' sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say your guys' social media page is I'm obsessed with whoever your person that does social media is so genius. The flowers with the earrings in it, I'm obsessed with those photos. You guys just have the most beautiful content.
We appreciate it. Yeah. Shout out to Ashley and our marketing department.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ashley, you're talented. Well, you've built such a strong connection with your community, and you're also known for taking thoughtful care of your customers, as you mentioned before, Kate. But how do you guys maintain that level of personal attention and handcrafted feel as the business continues to grow?
I don't think, I think it's not as easy when we just have the one-on-one relationship with customer, but we always try to tell our team to practice, listening to our customer.
Yeah, empathetic listening.
Because everybody come to our shop with a different unit storyline sets, So we want to be patient and take good care of them from the beginning when they inquiry until the end. They receive the jewelry until after that. If sometimes things happen. If the jewelry have some issue, we handle it all the way to the end. It's like a long-term relationship that we like take care of our customers and the community.
Yeah. And, a lot of our jewelry is gifted. We have a lot of people come to get gifts for loved ones. And usually it's some sort of milestone in their life, especially with our personalized jewelry. It's like a birth of a child, unfortunately, a passing of a family member or a graduation. It's something significant in their lives. And so when we're conducting that, empathetic listening that we like to call it, we're letting them know that we understand that it's important. And we're trying our best to make it perfect for you and get it there in time.
Yeah.
Can't get it 100% right all the time, but we do.
No, I read a story online. Kate was in an interview where you're talking about something with the ink from the new boxes or something had bled onto the jewelry and you fixed it all. But can you share that story and like how you handled it? Because it seems like a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. During like Model Day 2016, I think we before we would use like the box that don't have our name on it, so we just found
generic boxing.
Yeah, and then we start using our box with the name. But at first, we create like the black ink with like our logo, and we ship out during Model Days. You know how Model Day is pretty good for us. Like we do pretty well on Model Day, so we ship out like thousands of orders with that black box and. I remember that April of 2016 is so hot that the ink from the box just get on the jewelry.
Started to bleed into all the packaging inside as everything was being shipped in the mail trucks and getting hot. It was that ink was bleeding into everything and actually was getting onto the jewelry. And so everyone's opening their box to this purple mess, and all because of these jewelry boxes. And these are the trials and tribulations of growing a business, and so we learned we need to test a little bit more when it comes to packaging. So now I think Kate puts every jewelry box into the oven.
Into the oven with the jewelry.
Smart. You would never think that the ink from a box.
Exactly.
You would never think that. Did it take you guys a while to figure out what was happening? Because that would not be my first guess.
For sure. At first we talked to our like jeweler, like what's happening? Why is it happen? So, and then we start realize, okay, I think it's because the ink, because we don't put it in the zip bag like now we put in the zip bag, we try to be environmental friendly. So we put it in a little like pouch that like, but it's just
smart. God, that's such I love that story though. You guys, I love how open you guys are with how you've overcome all these different challenges.
Yeah.
But it's honest.
It's as you scale a business, there's always going to be some sort of hurdle that you have to get over.
Yeah, right.
So we're just waiting for the next hurdle.
Yeah. Well, as we've discussed, Caitlyn Minimalist is all about capturing people's stories. So can you share a customer story that's really stuck with you?
So in our Slack channel with the team, we have the Share the Love channel that whenever, so before it's just me, so I know all the story, but now, the team handle all the story in answering customer emails. So, but we still want to listen to our customers. So everybody, whenever they come through the love story or something from customer, we would share on the Share the Love. But I remember one of the customer at the beginning, I would put my phone number on our business card and put it in every single envelope. So at 4 a.m, one morning, I would get a phone call from customer from like the East Coast. Would say like, thank you so much for like my jewelry. My daughter loved it. And like,
it's really cool. And we appreciate hearing feedback. Sometimes it's a little bit much. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I said. They take the time to call you though and tell you how much they loved it. But 4
all the time, like they call. But that was very funny because they're in the East Coast. I mean, like, so 4 a.m, I'm waking up like, is there something wrong with your order? I couldn't even hear her well, because I moved here, my English is not as good. So it's like so funny.
Yeah. I also love, I just saw on your Instagram, the graduation rings. I think it's like is it the school like seal or something like that?
Yeah.
That you put on the rings, but so cool. I wish I had something like that when I graduated. But you've also partnered with 1% for the Planet and you offer paid volunteer time for your staff. So how did social responsibility become such a core part of your company culture?
I think we always care, like not only for customer, but only for like sustainable aspect of business, because been doing business for 10 years. It's like the amount of envelope and packagings and like
e-commerce specifically, you see a lot of waste with just shipping and packaging.
So we really pay attention on that. We not only try to use recycle silver for some of the jewelry and also like eco-friendly like packaging. We partner with like eco-enclosed for our packagings. And then we just realized that we might not do as good as a partner that would do well, like contribute.
That specializes in it.
Specialize in it. You know, we do research. For a long time, we already contribute for some of like environmental partners and other, but then when I start seeing 1% for planet really like take off, you know, they do it for a long time, but I really see their logo in every single like packaging on the brand that I would love. So I would pay attention like, okay, let's just do some research. And when I have Mike do like intense research on them and see how like they have a really impactful on the platforms and so on, you know, they do really well. So, and it's also good branded on them. 1% for planet is just
so 1% of gross revenues goes to help fighting climate change. That's what the whole foundation.
Amazing.
And like she was saying, you know, we're really good at making people happy with jewelry. We might not be the best at fighting climate because it's not something that we focus on every day. They work with organizations that do that. So it's best to partner with them so that they can, we can focus on what we're doing and we still can be impactful.
Yeah. I love, and you with the packaging and everything, like it sounds like you guys are still doing, I mean, your part as well. So that's amazing.
We're trying our best, you know?
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, you've expanded into physical retail locations in Newport Beach and Irvine. What motivated that move from digital to brick and mortar, and what can customers experience in person that they can't online?
I think we're doing pretty well with like online, 10 years of online business. Going to brick and mortar is just the matter of time, you know, it's just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like, we have children, we're busy, we have busy life. Online is always a little bit easier for us, but then now like we have to go where our customer go, and that means that we have to have our retail so customer can come and say hi and get to know the brand in person, get to touch and feel the jewelry, you know, because sometimes online you look at the photo, it can be a hit and miss, you know, you might like that design, you might not, but when it comes to the store, you get to touch and feel and really understand the brand. And I think we did a pretty good job, like transform the brand from like the online presence to like the retail presence.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of just slow growth. You know, we started just as an Etsy brand. You know, we put our full focus there, became the number one seller on the platform, decided that we wanted to be a little bit more in control of our brand. So, you know, started CaitlynMinimalist.com with the goal to, you know, be the main focus, excuse me. And we've achieved that. And I think now the goal is to, you know, become a little bit more aware with everybody. And one way to do that is to actually be in people's faces when they're actually shopping physically at the mall. So it was just kind of a matter of being where our customers are, but a matter of us getting there as a brand as far as.
Yeah. I love the trays that you give the customers to walk around with and put the jewelry in. It felt so like luxurious. It was really nice. It was really nice. And everything in the store is gorgeous. And the ropes that you guys have, is that from the Laguna Beach designer?
Yes. Yeah, actually it is.
Yeah. We featured him. He's amazing.
Oh, okay.
He's amazing. So
I'll speak up for Kate because she won't hype herself up as much as I will, but she's amazing at making things look pretty and always being thoughtful about every part of the shopping experience. So she'll think about things that I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even think about that. That's genius. But the way that she's been able to just elevate the brand, but also keep everything like affordable. So you feel like you're walking into a store that's almost luxury, but you're very, very affordable prices.
Yeah, I literally was expecting for the prices to be much higher when I walked in. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I've told the word of mouth, it's just something about your store inspires you to tell your friends, because I've told all of my friends, like, this is so great for gift giving too. Because you can get more pieces than if you went to a more expensive spot. And how did you guys come up with the vintage designer watches? Because they're they're priced reasonably. I was freaking out because they're all gorgeous. And that's just such a unique thing to have.
Yeah, for sure. It's just one of my hobby,
No way.
I always go to like all the vintage store and look for props and design for the store, like all the vase or always love that. So
yeah, it's kind of like been her little hobby on the side was chasing down these vintage watches.
No.
And then it kind of just turned into, well, people like these. We might as well feature these.
We have the first drop that I handpick everything from like all the vintage stores all over. Like I would go to this watch store, like one or two, and then I can collect them into like a 20 watches to drop. Our first drop is so amazing. Everybody love it, and they like do more. So I would try to think of a way how can I find more of these, so cannot just me go in all of these shops and find them. So I would go online, research. I'm pretty good at doing research,
treasure hunting.
So do research. Yeah. All of these come from Japan. So we would took a trip to Japan and hunt down these supplier. And then we found okay, we hit the jackpot. We find a good supplier that do a really good job with a really good pricing. As a Vietnamese, I'm really good at bargain and know how much things actually cost. So I'm it down up until the end. Okay, who is the source? Who is the source to distribute all of this? And then finally we figured out, and then we were able to offer.
So smart.
I've learned a lot about bargaining by being with my wife.
I love a bargain.
And you see the price on the shelf, and that's the price you pay. But you grew up in Vietnam. There's no price tags on anything. It's all a bargain. So they grow up with this natural ability to negotiate and bargain. And sometimes it could be a little socially awkward for Americans, to be.
Oh
yeah, I can't actually bargain, but if it's a good price,
I'll take the second that someone gives a little bit of fight back.
Same. I just got back from Japan actually in March, and you're right. I got a Prada bag for $200, which is a crazy price, and then I found we found all this designer stuff, and I was like, how is it so much more affordable here than in America? So I totally understand why the
Japan has very, very strict authenticity IP laws. So if you bought that Prada bag somewhere else in Asia, there you might think, oh well, maybe it's not real, but Japan's very strict with that.
Yeah, no, so many people I tell that to. And they go, oh, well, is it real? And I'm like, yeah, look inside. It's freaking real. So that makes me feel even better than that. I'm going to use that tidbit now from now on. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you guys would like to shout out for listeners to keep an eye out for in the coming year?
I think there are a lot of exciting news coming.
Yeah, I'll add it because I've been kind of leading the charge here when it comes to our retail growth. But yeah, we have a couple of long-term leases being negotiated and finalized right now. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'll just say it. Whatever. Shops at Mission Viejo.
No way.
Lease being finalized there, and then we've got two more being finalized in the greater LA area, and then a couple. With some LOIs out there. So, we're trying to kind of expand our presence in California here to start here in the next year.
Wow. Well, congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
And then you guys are also being featured in our July issue. So everyone keep an eye out for that. We are coming to the end of our time, but before I let you guys go, I have 3 final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful 3. So first, how do you measure success now versus how you did when you were first starting out?
This is a really good question. I think success comes in stage in your life. When I first start my first Etsy shop, I would hope, okay, one sale a day is good enough, and that's considered success for me. And then when I hit the number 1 Etsy seller, that's considered success. But now that sitting here, I think success is just being happy with what you do and feel the fulfillment when you do the things that you love. Sometimes people always say, okay, love what you do. But for me, I say, people always say like do what you love, but for me, it's love what you do. At the beginning, I only love what I doing. Doesn't matter what I have to do, like answer customer, listing, photography. I love every single bit of it, and it just blossomed into something so beautiful because everything comes from love. So success for me is really like fulfill like the love that you do it every day.
Oh, I love that.
Sure.
And then what moments in your guys' career have had the most significant impact on who you are today?
That's a difficult one to it hasn't really been one moment. It's been, we've been in business for 10 years and we've been by each other's side the whole way. And so, like that story we shared with the boxes and the birth of our first child, there's been many ups and downs. And so it's really, really difficult to single one out, but the overall journey, though, to do this with someone that you love, it makes it even better.
It's not easy, but it's worth it. It's not always easy.
Yeah,
awake.
Our baby's awake.
Oh, sorry.
It's not always easy.
yeah, right.
Today, and we had to put the baby to sleep to do this interview.
Yeah, I so appreciate you guys doing that. Well, one last question. What is one thing that you wish you would have known when you were first starting out?
Don't have to do it all by myself. Michael have been a really big help in my career, but sometimes I'm sort of a perfectionist and detail oriented. I just want to do everything by myself. Like I said, I do every single jewelry, listing, photo, everything SEO is everything on me, and I scale up giving away. But now, look back, that is sort of step back. You really have to the system.
Trust the system you set up. Trust the people around you.
Trust the people around you. Work as a team. Teamwork, make dream work. Cannot do it without a team. So
that's really good advice.
Thankful for our team, and thankful for my husband, my family who have been support me along the way. For sure.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your guys' story. This has been so fun getting to talk with you. And I absolutely love your love story. So I appreciate you guys doing this.
Well, we appreciate you featuring us and having us here on the podcast. Thank you.
Of course.